Marinaro, the Sick Podcast. It's the Habs post-game show live from Sir Winston Churchill Pub on Crescent Street, downtown Montreal. We were gathered here for Saturday Night Hockey, hoping for a Montreal Canadiens win, and the Canadiens could replicate some comfort behind wins the way they did over the past couple of games, and another flair for the dramatic. They tried hard, but when all was said and done, the Montreal Canadiens didn't have a very productive third period. The New York Rangers took advantage of a Samuel Montembeault that was not on his best night. Do we have a goaltending controversy in Montreal only 6 games into the season? It's something we're going to discuss. A couple of injuries for the Canadiens. A couple of new players made their way into the lineup tonight. Unfortunately, it was not enough. When all was said and done, the Montreal Canadiens lose to the New York Rangers by a score of 4-3. We have a great Habs post-game show coming up with Pierre McGuire at a distance, as he usually is. Simon, the Snake Boisvert, I call him Uzerpent, is here live at Sir Winston Churchill Pub. The Habs post-game show is coming up in just a couple of minutes.
It's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur. Oh!
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the fall!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement, et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens, le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they work the young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida TV. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
It's the Sick Podcast. I'm Marinaro because I don't work enough here on a Saturday night, but we want to thank the great folks over at Sir Winston Churchill Pub. They're here. Thank you for the hospitality. What a great place to watch the hockey game, huh? Fantastic. A round of applause for everyone and a round of applause for the Montreal Canadiens who lost. But you know what? This is the type of team that the fan base wants, a team that's not going to win every game. We get that. Mind you, at one point, maybe we're starting to get a little bit cocky because we figured, hey, you know what? They got off to a 2-0 start. I don't know if they took the game for granted. Simon Snake Boisvert, but they call it the dreaded 2-0 lead.
Look, I really thought that they were going to come back again like they did on Tuesday and Thursday. But they didn't. But they play a very, very entertaining brand of hockey this year, and I think this is what people want. I mean, if you're going to lose games, obviously, like you say, but I mean, this was worth the price of admission tonight.
I think the Canadiens have played an entertaining brand of hockey ever since they took the decision to hire Marty St. Louis as an interim coach at the beginning, and then obviously remove the interim tag and name him a head coach. Anytime you go into a rebuild, there's a lot of growing pains, and there's a lot of bad nights where obviously you're going to lose more often than not. There are teams that in the past have gone through a rebuild and they played the neutral zone trap, trying to win games, playing a very, very tight defensive system, knowing they don't have the talent. And it's very difficult for the fan base to watch because in the end, you end up losing the game and the games are boring. The Canadiens have opened it up, maybe opened it up a little bit too much tonight. Maybe they should have protected a Samuel Montembeault that clearly was not on his game. It was an off night for Samuel Montembeault, maybe feeling the pressure of wanting to do too well because Jakub Dobes was coming off a good performance and a good night in which he won. Cole Caulfield scored the game-winning goal last game, and the second after he scored that goal versus the Nashville Predators, he skated all the way down the opposite end of the ice to go see Jakub Dobes, pointed at him, and basically said, you're the reason why we won the game tonight because before I scored, you made a huge stop off a breakaway, and maybe Montembeault was like, oh, you know what, maybe put a little bit too much on himself. It's a New York Rangers team that is not great at home, but on the road, they're a little bit more comfortable, and they do have firepower. Let's face it, when Zibanejad and Panarin have open ice, Lafreniere is not too shabby. Adam Fox was able to contribute to the offense tonight. We're going to discuss it for sure with a gentleman who joins me on every Habs weeknight post-game show and is joining me even tonight on a Saturday night. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Pierre McGuire. A round of applause for Pierre.
The McGuire Report. Presented by Vago Italian.
And yes, Vago Italian brings you Pierre McGuire weeknights after every Habs postgame show. Open 23 years. Longevity, not many restaurants open that long. Private dining rooms for any occasions, birthdays, engagements, corporate meetings, plenty of free parking after 6, open Monday to Saturday evenings, and lunch Tuesday to Friday, fresh quality ingredients, old world Italian classics and new Italian. Come see Tommaso, the most popular man in Westmount, at the front of the house, and his partner Angelo at the back of the house. Pierre McGuire, welcome. How are you? Pierre, we don't hear you. If we can send Pierre.
I wish I was with you and Snake at Sir Winston Churchill's. It's been a long time since I've been there, but I've known the Nakas family forever. I've known the Gulakis family forever, and I've had a lot of great nights and days over at Sir Winston Churchill's.
And Pierre, they're here, and they heard you loud and clear, and they send their regards. They wish you were here, but I told them, you know what? He's not here because he's out of town, but I bet you the next time he's in town, if he is on a Saturday night, he'll join us.
Oh, for sure. For sure, I'm going to join you because I will be there on a Saturday night, and George will know exactly what I'm talking about. They're putting our good friend, the late Ray Shero, into the St. Lawrence Hockey Hall of Fame. And I will be there to present at the Hall of Fame for Ray. And I'm going to take my mother for dinner on Thursday. And on Saturday, I will be at Sir Winston Churchill's that night.
That's fantastic stuff, Pierre. Why don't we get to this, Pierre, if we can, and we'll start with this. The Montreal Canadiens sent out a tweet earlier this morning, more precisely at 10:15 a.m., and I'll read it out. Defenseman Kaiden Guhle. Pierre, you were worried about Kaiden Guhle last game. We saw him hobbling off. He looked like he was in considerable pain, and you said, this doesn't look good for Kaiden Guhle. Clearly, you were right, Pierre, because the lower body injury the Canadiens have confirmed. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. And forwards, Kirby Dach, lower body, day to day, and Patrick Laine, lower body, day to day, not playing in tonight's hockey game. Owen Beck recalled from the Laval Rocket, who, by the way, I was there earlier today at Place Belle in attendance in Laval because, of course, we are the proud French audio voice of Laval Rocket home games on our streaming service. And the Laval Rocket, for a second consecutive day, victorious over the Abbotsford Canucks. And I just see that Schwartz's has delivered some smoked meat. Smoked meat. And it doesn't get better than Schwartz's smoked meat. Thank you very much. All right. They know how to please me. One look at my stomach and they know what time it is. All right. Okay. Pierre, talk to me about the absence of Kaiden Guhle and how you think the Canadiens did tonight without him and how they'll be able to cope over the next 4 to 6 weeks without him.
They're going to have to come up with a plan. As much as Jaden Strubl's done well and as much as Arber's played well, they're going to have to come up with a plan to find a way to eat up some of the minutes that Kaiden plays. So I think that's number one. Number two, and I think this is really important for you and Snake and for the listening audience, the truth of the matter is Patrick Laine's had a very pedestrian start to the year. I'm not worried about him. Kirby Dach, I'm a little bit more concerned with, but I like the fact that Kapanen can slide in with the top group or one of the top groups, especially with Demidov on his right side. We'll see how it plays out long term. This is a good opportunity for Owen Beck. It's a great opportunity for Joe Veleno. I'm not so concerned about the forwards, Tony and Snake. I'm more concerned about the back end without having Kaiden there for that amount of time.
Snake?
I would call up Adam Engstrom. Give it a shot. Why not?
What does that say to the defenseman that you have here, though? If Adam Engstrom's going to be called up and he's going to play, and the ones that were here and the decision was taken for them to start the season in Montreal, you end up leaving them outside to play Adam Engstrom. And I liked Adam Engstrom tonight, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, look, my point is they had, 7 defensemen, and so there's always one guy who's going to sit out.
Yes.
Now Guhle is gone. There's 6. You bring in Engstrom, that's 7. So they know that one guy is going to sit out. So why would they play with 6 guys right now?
Well, it's something that I definitely think they're going to consider when they're going to go on the road Wednesday in Calgary, Thursday in Edmonton,
you have to bring
Saturday
an extra guy
in Vancouver, Pierre.
No, that Snake's on to something there. And Tony, you just nailed that. They don't have to worry about it for Monday night with Buffalo. That even though Buffalo's coming off 2 wins, one against Ottawa, one against Florida, which I watched this afternoon, they handled the Florida Panthers 3-0. That's another storyline, but Florida with all those injuries are in trouble. I'm just telling you guys, they're in trouble. But they have to. What's that,
Pierre? Man, they're not only in trouble, Pierre. Do you think fatigue plays a role too? Because you had fatigue 3 consecutive Cup finals, 3 shortened summers, and then the key injuries that they have. Of course, Tkachuk is out until at least the end of the year. Barkov is out probably for the year. Kulikov is now out for 5 months. They end up picking up Donovan Sabrango off of waivers. Brad Marchand's 38. Bobrovsky's 38. You add it all up, you can understand if things go wrong.
No, 100%. That's what I'm telling you. So they don't have to worry about this for the Buffalo Sabre game on Monday. But to Snake's point, and I agree with him, they need to recall somebody. And who that person is going to be, only they know. I like the fact that he brought up Edstrom's name because I agree with that 100%. And you go back. See, the thing that people forget is you're going back to back when you play out west on Wednesday and Thursday. And that's something that matters because of time zone travel. And I know people in the East don't want to talk about it, but you're playing at altitude, especially in Calgary and Edmonton. You're playing at altitude. It's a way different deal. Trust me, I've gone through it. We used to go in the old days 2 days early to get acclimatized to the altitude.
Pierre, I want to talk to a Snake for a second about Kirby Dach because you brought up his name. For all of you in attendance here at Sir Winston's and you don't have the NHL standings in front of you, I can tell you that with a record of 4 wins and 2 losses after 6 games, the Montreal Canadiens are now second in their division behind the Detroit Red Wings, and they're 5th in the Eastern Conference. Pierre McGuire said he's more concerned about Kirby Dach, who missed the final 25 games last year of the season due to a knee injury, suffering a torn ACL to the exact same knee that he had suffered a knee injury to the year before, when after only playing 1 game and in game number 2, having that injury requiring season-ending surgery, he was out for the entire season. Maxime Lapierre brought something up on the podcast a couple of nights ago, Pierre, saying if, the advice that he would give to Kirby Dach is to bend his knees because he skates up straight, and he thinks that if he bends his knees, he can get a lot more torque, he can be in better movement, he can have a lot more pace. Snake, and then I'll throw it to Pierre McGuire, but I'll ask you, I just thought about this over the last couple of days, but what if he can't? Is it possible that he has a physically handicap after having those 2 ACL, MCL injuries, surgeries? Maybe there's some of the things that his knees could do before that they can't now. And I'm wondering with this out day-to-day, if it's possible that it was just, if it could be some inflammation, because they made him play when they played back-to-back. They made him play when they played 3 and 4, and now they had a day off yesterday, but he's not playing tonight. Could it be that there's some inflammation?
I think it's possible. The problem with these knee injuries is that they're very, very serious. And although, this is not the 70s anymore when, players' career would end because of knee injuries, but there's still severe injuries. And the thing is with Dach is that it's the last year of his contract. So what are they going to do? They're going to have to make a decision at the end of the year. Are they going to keep him? Are they going to sign him for 1 year? Could they trade him? I don't know. But, a player as talented as he is, whichever player, when he's injured, he's not an asset for a team.
Well, you just said something, and it's very important. I'm sorry to cut you off here, is that when you say, can they trade Kirby Dach, there's one big problem. His value is at an all-time low, right, Pierre McGuire?
His value is not high right now.
But he's an RFA at the end of the year, so obviously a decision will have to be made. Either he's non-qualified, non-tendered, or they trade him for not much, or they re-sign him perhaps for a year, but at what price? And and what will the Dawkins' agent want?
He's going to have to be ready for a pay cut, I think.
Yeah,
if he's going to cover.
Snake, I'd love to talk to you about this because I think you're onto something. And here's what I would say: if I was negotiating that contract, I'd say your player's in no position to negotiate with us. So here's what we're going to do: we're going to give you an extra year, but we're going to go low on the money. So if you want, because we're gambling because your players are hurt commodity. But I hate to say this because it breaks my heart. I'm just trying to take people to the back room, how it usually works. When you're negotiating a contract with an injured player, sometimes you give them an extra year, but you're going to give them way low money because that's going to be the thing that teases. I don't know how hard the Canadiens want to play this game with him, but I'll tell you right now, if I was negotiating that contract, it'd be pretty simple. We're going to do a 2-year deal with you, but here's the dollar value. And you're not going to like the dollars, but you're going to like the fact you get an extra year.
We are live at Winnie's, serving all of your favorites and more since 1969. Was the summer of 69. Me and some guys from school had a band and we tried real hard. Yeah, Jimmy quit. Jody got married. Should have known. Okay, I'll stop now. All right. Enjoy Chef Jack's inspired and timeless gastropub fare. Winnie's Pub, open late. The best 5 à 7 in Montreal. The place to cheer on the Owls and the Habs. Downtown Montreal's headquarters for everything from F1 to Les Glorieux. Always at Winnie's. All right, Pierre, let's take a look at the Canadiens lineup tonight because, of course, it was the first game for Joe Veleno, regular season game in a Montreal Canadiens uniform in front of family and friends. Suzuki had Slavkovsky on his right, Caulfield on his left, Evans with Gallagher on his right, and Anderson on his left. Kapanen with Demidov on his right, Newhook on his left, Valeno with Beck and Bolduc, Matheson, Dobson, Struble, Hudson, Xhekaj, Carrier, and Samuel Montembeault in goal. Pierre, Joe Veleno's first regular season game as a Montreal Canadien. I have some stats. He did not play a lot, Pierre. I guess there's no surprise there. Joe Veleno played 9 minutes and 44 seconds. But, Pierre, when we talk about making a lot out of your ice time, 2 shots on goal, had a missed shot, had 3 hits, and won 1 of 2 faceoffs for 50%. Yep. Pierre, he showed pace. He showed defensive responsibility. Once again, didn't get a lot of ice time, but Joe Veleno did not hurt the Montreal Canadiens tonight, Pierre.
Absolutely not. He did not hurt the Montreal Canadiens at all. That's a hard spot to be in on a Saturday night, on Hockey Night in Canada, in Montreal. Your first time playing there as a member of the Montreal Canadiens in a regular season game. That's a tough spot. He played a little less than 10 minutes, so it's hard to get into rhythm. I thought he handled himself well. I remember one hit in particular in the third period that I was really impressed with, because it's not the Joe Veleno I'm used to seeing, but it showed that he wanted to try to make an impact and force a turnover. So, no, I thought he handled himself very, very well in that situation.
For all of you that are here watching and listening at Winnie's, there's several reasons to stick around. Reason number 1, as you can see, that box over there, and we went around to see all of you to fill out fill it out, put in your name, your coordinates, because one lucky winner will win a pair of tickets to a Montreal Canadiens game this season. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2, I think we're going to give you a heck of a Habs post-game show. We're going to try to make it the best in town. Reason number 3, we have Schwartz's smoked meat sandwiches here, and I have a feeling that they're going to be flying here, there, and everywhere in the next 15 minutes, and a couple of people are going to be eating like they're going to the electric chair in 10 minutes. Okay, let's back to Pierre. Juraj Slafkovsky on a 2-on-1 on a pass from Caulfield, 1 minute and 33 seconds into the hockey game. There's a turnover. Caulfield makes a great play. And Pierre, this one's going to do Slafkovsky some good. His second, he needs to start scoring some goals, and he did tonight.
Yeah, that play all started with Mika Zibanejad missing the net and Matthew Robinson making a questionable pinch. So you're spot on in terms of how the 2-on-1 was created. I didn't like Zibanejad missing the net there on that shot, and I thought it was a bad pinch by a young player by the name of Matthew Robinson, who actually scored a huge goal, his first ever goal in the National Hockey League, which is good for him and the New York Rangers. But no, it was a great play by Cole, and it was a nice finish by Slafkovsky against Jonathan Quick.
Pierre, a couple of minutes later, the Canadiens go on a power play, and it goes from Demidov, to Gallagher. And there's a Nick Suzuki with a one-timer on the play. It's just it really was a great passing play that the Canadiens did, Pierre. There's no doubt about it. But so Suzuki gets on the mark, and all of a sudden, Pierre, they're up 2-0 versus a conference opponent less than 4 minutes into the game. Pierre, only they know if they got too confident. Only they know if, their focus went off. Only they know if they started taking too many offensive chances and neglected the defense. What did you see, Pierre?
I think they let their guard down a little bit. It's called fat, drunk, and stupid syndrome. It happens in the National Hockey League. It happens at every level. A 2-0 lead's a bad lead. A 3-0 lead's a worse lead, because it gets you into trouble because guys stop working. They do, and it happens all. And once the other team scores 1 goal, they're starting to feel it. So I get it. It's an 82-game schedule. This team has been full value. They're a good team. And I really believe, they'll have a bounce back on Monday against Buffalo. And I know Buffalo's feeling good and they're playing well. As long as the Canadiens don't let their guard down and run wild tonight on Crescent or whatever else they want to do tonight, they'll be ready for the game on Monday, and they'll head out on the road in a real good position. I believe that.
Snake Josh Anderson gets a penalty, 2 minutes for holding at 10:24.
Yeah.
The New York Rangers go on a power play from Panarin to Adam Fox. He tees it up for Mika Zibanejad. His one-timer beat Samuel Montembeault. That was a goal scorer's goal. It was a goal scorer's shot by Zibanejad.
Yeah. I mean, that was an important goal because obviously it kind of brought the Rangers back to life. But you were saying that the Canadiens took too many chances offensively. Honestly, I like it. Because when you have a 2-0 lead, there's still, 56 minutes left. What are you going to do? Just try and protect the lead? Because what we saw this week at the Bell Center with Seattle, with Nashville, and with Rangers tonight, Rangers, it worked for them. But Seattle and Nashville, it didn't work. When there's 10 minutes left, these teams, they do nothing. They're just trying to protect the lead. And the Habs came back twice because of this. And you see this in the NHL constantly. seen this over and over, ever since I've been following hockey. And I really don't understand why. There's 10 minutes left. You need by one goal. Try and score another goal. You not necessarily take stupid chances, but don't just sit back, because if you're sitting back at some point, the other team can score, especially with the Habs. I mean, if you put like the 5-6 best players on the ice for the Habs, there's a good chance they're going to score a goal.
A gentleman who coached a game or two in the National Hockey League, Pierre McGuire, is looking at you and he's smiling. It looks like he wants to say something. Pierre?
Go.
I do. I want to say something, but I agree with Snake. So the truth of the matter is, when the red line came out, those bend and play back, it doesn't work anymore. It used to work a lot. We've never seen in the history of the league teams coming from behind in playoff series down 3-0, 4-1, 5-2 in games, because the red line's out, the stretch pass is available. So if you're not aggressive now, you're going to be in a world of hurt. What created all this stuff with the dumb it down was New Jersey through the 90s, the left wing lock of the Detroit Red Wings with Scotty Bowman and Barry Smith, Pat Burns in Montreal in 89. People started watching this, and it changed the way the game was played. They used to call the New Jersey Devils Moscow on the Hudson because there was nothing going on. It was like being in the Kremlin. It was hard to do. And so I'm just telling you, like Lemaire and Burns, Bowman, they changed how people defended the lead. But when the red line came out, it changed everything. And the first coach, it's interesting because I'll share you something with you guys. It's to Snake's point. The first team to ever win the cup after the rules changed in 2005 were the Carolina Hurricanes in 2006. Peter Laviolette was a head coach. He's the only coach at the time in the National Hockey League that played U.S. college hockey and understood how to play without the red line. He was the only coach that understood that concept.
Great point, Pierre. The Sick Podcast is brought to you in part by several sponsors, one of which is Energy Transportation Group, a leading asset-light 3PL that's driven to be different from cross-border freight between Canada, USA, and Mexico to coast shipping in both Canada and the United States. Energy moves it all. They're fast, reliable, powered by tech that delivers smarter logistics. If you need a real partner in transportation, contact the team, Sick at shipenergy.com, and see how Energy Transportation Group is changing the freight game. Also brought to you in part by Bittt, the Tibi. They launched their new Ultra Lager, refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for those cool fall days, with only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can, available in a pack of 6 and 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. Ultra light, ultra refreshing. Pierre McGuire, I can't wait to hear your take on this. In period number 2, there was a big moment in the game where Carrick lays the body on Lane Hudson behind the Canadiens' goal. And bam, Lane Hudson goes down, but gets up and delivers a hit of his own. Arber Xhekaj back in the lineup after having sat out last game is there, observes it all, and says, no, Carrick, you're going to have to answer the bell. They fight. I'm not saying that Arber didn't do well, but it was not an unanimous Arber win. It was no beatdown. And Carrick did really, really well, especially considering his size. And he's not the heavyweight on that team, because the heavyweight on that team is Rempe. Pierre McGuire, only the Rangers know. But do you think, even though Arber's intentions were great, and by the way, I think we all are happy that he did what he did, but that the Rangers probably got a bigger lift from it than the Canadiens?
100% they did, but that's okay. That's part of like an 82-game schedule. Stuff's going to happen. Not every guy's going to win every fight. I used to work with the late John Ferguson Sr., as tough a man that there ever was that played in the National Hockey League. And John and I would talk about this all the time. And he used to tell me the one thing that was really important, if you're going to be the guy that dropped his gloves, especially on home ice, the most important thing was don't get beat and thrashed. Make sure that you responded. I thought Arber responded really well. Here's the one underrated part about all the Carricks, and I've watched all 3 brothers play. They're a tough group. They're tough kids, every single one of them. And, this Carrick that plays for the – what's that?
Just for the record, I don't think Arber lost the fight, but I'm saying considering the fact that Arber's bigger and we expect Arber to win his fights, I think that Carrick did so well that his team drew energy from it.
100%. It totally inflated the bench of the New York Rangers. I totally agree with that. Absolutely. The one thing I'd say, though, is people will target Lane Hudson a lot. It doesn't matter. He is a tough kid, man. He's unbelievably tough.
But Pierre, here's the thing, right? And we've said this before, is that a lot of people will probably say you need Arber Xhekaj in the lineup so other teams will not take liberties at your players. But Arber was on the ice when Carrick delivered the hit.
Yeah.
So, and we saw last year versus the Washington Capitals, the most physical game where the Capitals did the most damage was Game 4. Arber was in the lineup. Now, I'm not saying that it's great to have Arber in the lineup, and he is a nuclear deterrent like Pierre calls him. All I'm saying is that for those who believe that the Canadiens players are not going to get hit or targeted when Arber's in the lineup, I don't believe that either. I do believe, like Pierre McGuire says, that it's great to have a guy like Arber on your team, on the ice or on the bench, who can go to the other bench and say, you're going to target our best player? Wait till you see what I'm going to do to Panarin.
See, that's the key. What you just said, that's the key. And Snake, I learned that from Scotty and Bob Johnson a long time ago. Don't worry about the other team's tough guy. You go take care. You tell the star, the next time you touch our star, we're breaking your leg. And so you say it loud enough for the other team to hear it. And the star's like, hey, stop. You know, I had the honor of being around Mario Lemieux a lot. And we had guys like Jay Caulfield and Troy Loney and Phil Bork. And if you went near Mario, trust me when I tell you, they went by the other team's bench and said, you go near him again, your star, whether it's Raymond Bork, whether it's Adam Oates, whether it's Mark Messier, whether it's Brian Leach, we're taking him. We're not taking you. We're not wasting our time with you. We're taking him.
Speaking of Arber, the last game that Arber played, he had 10 minutes. When Struble played last game, he had many more minutes more than that. Tonight, due to the Goalie injury, they both played. Shane Gaumont at Master Control, if you can bring up the game summary, which will show you that Arber Xhekaj tonight played 10 minutes and 20 seconds. He was a -1. One assist, a +1 for Jaden Struble, who played 16-22. Now, I get it. Arber had 7 penalty minutes, and that could have influenced a couple of minutes on ice. But I still believe that even had he been on the ice for a couple of more minutes, when all is said and done, Pierre, Jaden Struble's getting more ice time from the Canadiens coaching staff than Arber Xhekaj is getting.
Well, we talked about it the other day. I thought that Jaden played really well, and I think Jaden deserves to be in the lineup. But Arber's got a certain role. Jaden's got a certain role. And now with Goalie being out, and Snake will tell you the same thing. With Goalie being out, both those guys are important. They are important, and they're going to have to bring somebody else up because they cannot go out to the West Coast with only 6D. You cannot.
Gentlemen, there was no scoring in period number 2, but when they went to period number 3, let's bring up the scoring summary again, the game sheet. Okay, JT Miller, guys, 34 seconds in on a pass from Adam Fox, shoots the puck at the net. It's beautifully redirected by JT Miller. I think Mike Matheson's going to be upset that he wasn't able to tie up JT Miller's stick on that one, but it's a beautiful redirect. Pierre talked about Robertson, who scored his first goal in the National Hockey League. Pierre, that shot cannot go in.
No, it can't go in. But I'm going to tell you something that I bet you never heard on TV tonight. That's on Zachary Bolduc. Sorry to tell you. That's on Zachary Bolduc. He cheated on in-zone coverage. Go watch the tape.
Yes, he did.
He's number 76. Trust me, 76 is plastered on my screen. I watch all these things back like 7 to 10 times to see what's wrong. And you go watch what happens. Zachary Bolduc cheated on in-zone coverage, and that's why that shot wasn't blocked, and that's why it went in. Yeah, you can blame the goalie, but I'm going to tell you right now, in in-zone coverages today, that's on Zach Bolduc.
Pierre missed assignment. There's no doubt about it. Montembeault's got to stop it, though. We agree?
Oh, absolutely. But I'm telling you, like, they're going to see this. I guarantee you in the tape room, they've already got that on tape, and they're going to watch that. And Trevor Letowski or Marty St. Louis is going to take them aside and say, we get what you're doing. We love the way you play. We think you're great. And I'm the head of the fan club for Zachary Bolduc. But I'm telling you right now, he's got to get in the lane there. That puck can't get shot through from the point. No way. No way.
A minute 40 later, Panarin on a great passing play from the Rangers, Zibanejad, Gavrikov, Panarin. he beats Samuel Montembeault stick side. Pierre McGuire, I know the Canadiens scored the goal after that, and I know that Marty St. Louis was happy to have his timeout with less than a minute left when he used it. But I have to ask you, Pierre, the New York Rangers are trailing going into the third period. They scored 3 unanswered goals in a span of just over 5 minutes. Yeah. Were you thinking they should have called a timeout and or a goalie change to try and change the momentum at that point?
I thought of the goalie change when they scored 2 goals in a minute and 40 seconds. I really did, because it gives you an opportunity to slow everything down, get the goalie in the net, calm your guys down, and you still keep your timeout. That's what I thought of. But you got to look at it. They scored 2 goals in a minute and 40 seconds. Like, those numbers don't lie. Go look on your sheet. They scored 2 in 140.
Snake, 2 goals in 140, 3 goals in just over 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Would you have either called a timeout or pulled Samuel Montembeault?
I don't think I would have pulled Montembeault, but a timeout would have been an option, obviously, although you're losing your timeout, which can be used at the end of the period. If
yes,
need be.
And they did
with 13 seconds left. But
so you just said something to me. You said, Tony, I would not have pulled Montembeault.
No.
I got to ask you a question. It's the question that probably everyone's asking themselves right now. Who would you put in goal on Monday night versus the Buffalo Sabres?
Look, I go with Dobes because he was good this week. And, why not? I mean, they're going on the road. So you give him a game. And then we know that when there's a back-to-back, they're going to split both games. So, Montembeault, Dobes on Monday. And then depending on who's hot, you choose who's going to play the Flames and who's going to play the Oilers, basically.
Pierre?
I'm with Snake on that. I'm with Snake on everything he just said. The one thing I would say, though, is I wouldn't be afraid to go back-to-back on Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
With the goalie. And I'll tell you why. Calgary could surprise us. I've been really disappointed in their start. They're getting older down the middle. Naz is. I love Naz. Naz and Kadri. I think the world of Naz as a person, as a player. But he's getting older. Michael Backlund's getting older. They're keeping Coronado on the wing. I just don't know if they match up firepower with Montreal. So I'm not sure I'd be afraid to, go with a back-to-back if my goalie played well on Wednesday and then Thursday.
Okay, so hold on a second. I got a question for you, though. This is interesting, Pierre. Before we get to Wednesday and Thursday, who's your goalie on Monday?
Oh, I'm going with Dobes.
Perfect. Does that mean that you could be going with Dobes again on Wednesday, or does that mean that regardless of the result, you're going with Montembeault on Wednesday?
No, I might go with Dobes on Wednesday if he wins.
And if he wins, you'd go again with him on Thursday?
Yeah, I would.
Now he's playing 3 games in 4 nights, time difference, travel, and altitude.
Because I think Buffalo coming into Montreal, unless Buffalo dominates, which I don't think they will. If they do, then I'd think about it. But you can't just say it in advance. But all these things are available to be changed. I mean, we had Tommy Barrasso. I can tell you right now, there were nights where Tommy would say, I'm tired, I'm beat up. You know what? If you don't play me, I'm going to lose my crap. And he would play. Just because he wanted, and he was really good. So I don't know. You got to be careful. Like, if you're going to just do it on a list and say, yeah, he's going to play Monday and that guy's playing Wednesday and he's going to play Thursday, how are you going to get your guys ready? I don't know if that's the right way to do it.
Is it safe to say that it's a couple of years now, Snake, in the National Hockey League, that anytime it's a back-to-back situation, more often than not, 90% of the times coaches are splitting duties on the goalies?
Yeah, because, look, it's a long season. It's an 82-game season. Even if your first goalie, plays 50, 55 games, you got to give the starts to the backup goalie, and usually they choose to do it on a back-to-back situation.
So I got a question for you guys.
Sure.
I mean this because it's a good discussion to have. 10 straight years, Marty Brodeur had 70-plus starts. 10 straight years. The league didn't get any harder, I'm telling you right now. That league was as harder than anything. And you know what? The goalies weren't protected like they are right now. 10 straight years of 70-plus starts, dude.
You're right, but fantastic goalie. Fantastic big 3 in front of him. Jacques Lemaire, Larry Robinson, Pat Burns coaching him. How many shots per game was he facing, Pierre?
Yeah, between 19 and 25. I get it. I was coaching against those guys. I know what the hell was going on. Trust me when I tell you. But what about Patrick Waugh? What about Patrick Waugh? I mean, I can go down the line. Look at Tommy. Go look at Tommy Barrasso's numbers. Look at Mike Richter's numbers. Like, I'm just telling you guys. Like, I think all this stuff, I think all this load management stuff is overrated. I'm telling you.
Perfect. I love the discussion. I'll counter with this. You brought up Patrick Waugh and Marty Brodeur. You brought up, two of the top 5 goaltenders of all time. So if you were coaching those guys, or if I was coaching those guys, or Stink was coaching those guys, it's easy to go with those guys in the back-to-back. We're talking about Montembeault and Dobes here.
Yeah, but what about, I know, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue. Like, that's a fair point. That makes a lot of sense. Why? You know who would be the perfect guy to ask? Ask Grant Fuhr when he was playing at Edmonton. He was being exposed to 40 to 50 shots a game because nobody was playing team defense, and they'd win games 6-5 or 7-4. Those guys played too. And you know what? There were no charter planes back then. Those guys were flying commercial. Like, I think all this load management stuff is cooked up. I really do. The one thing I would say where it does work, and I'm going to say this sincerely, because we're seeing a lot of young players come into the league because they work cheap and everybody's worried about the cap. What Anaheim did with Leo Carlson was really smart. It was really smart. What Pittsburgh's doing with Harrison Brunick and what they're doing with Ben Kindle is really smart. That load management works. But with established pros, I'm just telling you, I think it's overcooked. I really do.
Who's winning the game between the Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres on Monday night? Go all the way with Betway. Get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 on your first deposit. Scan the QR code that's on the screen right now or click on the link in detail section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offers only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. Please play responsibly. Do you want me to draw the winner in yellow for the pair of tickets to a Montreal Canadiens game? You want to do that? Huh? Here we go. Folks, if I could have your attention right now, we're going to draw the lucky winner for a pair of tickets to a Montreal Canadiens home game. And the winner is Nancy Roy or Nancy Roy. Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy? Nancy, come on up. Come on up, Nancy. Come here. Make an appearance, Nancy. Come here. Nancy, come on up. Come on up, Nancy. Just come here. A round of applause for Nancy. Nancy, come here. You got a smoked meat sandwich? Come over here. Come here. All right. She got her Canadiens gear on. Say hello. Get in here. Get behind us so you can get on the camera. All right. Nancy, I see a phone number here. I'm not going to give it away. That is not a, get over here in the middle if you can. It's not a 514 number. Where are you from?
Cochrane, Ontario.
You're from Ontario?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Ontario.
All right. Okay. Who invited you here?
Nancy did.
Okay. I called Nancy up. He's here. Okay. I was just gonna announce the news to Nancy. Good news, bad news. The good news, you won a pair of tickets to a Montreal Canadiens home game. The bad news, you're going with Stink. What's Brad? You're going with Brad, I guess. Brad and Nancy, congratulations. Thanks for joining us. You usually make your way down to Montreal
Every year.
Every year?
Every year.
For one weekend or one game or?
Well, we
3
usually,
games this weekend.
3 games this
Wow.
week.
we were there Thursday, tonight, and Monday.
Wow. You got room for one more trip?
Absolutely.
Congratulations. You're a winner. Nancy Roy and Brad. Let's hear it for them both. Her birthday's on Tuesday. All right. So wish her a happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nancy. Happy birthday to you. All right, okay. Good stuff. All right, round of applause. Hey, I want to say a special hello. I want to thank all of you for being here. But if I can, there's some familiar faces that I see very, very often. Very, very often. Jimmy Zubris and his 20-year-old girlfriend who come to all the shows. Thank you very much. Jimmy, thanks for being here. Dear, thanks for being. Effie, thanks for being here. Jimmy and Effie are great supporters. They have been since day one, going back actually since when I was doing English radio. Every time we were on the road, they would come by. And when I decided to take my talents over to the podcast world, they keep on coming by. They keep on supporting. They keep on supporting our sponsors. It's people like them that make our podcast what it is today. Jimmy and Effie. All right, okay, so thank you for that. Pierre McGuire, we talked about the momentum shifting in period number 3 and the New York Rangers taking over. Pierre, what happened in period number 3? The Canadiens didn't look like they were ready to start that period. Could it be there was a carryover of what we talked about, Carrot giving them a lift? What happened? It looked like it was a different hockey game in the first 7 or 8 minutes of the third period than it was in the first 7 or 8 minutes of the first period, Pierre. What happened?
The power play goal really helped the Rangers. I mean, JT Miller getting in the front of the net, Fox getting the puck through. That really helped them. And it's quick strike offensive capabilities we talked about. And then the Robinson goal happens a minute and 40 seconds later, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? So you got to – I think the power play goal made a big difference, Tony. I really do. And for Montreal – it's an 82-game schedule. There are a lot of learning, and I think Snake would agree with this. There are a lot of learning stuff that they can take out of this game, but I wouldn't overreact to this game at all. I mean, if I were the Kings, I wouldn't overreact. I'd just use the teaching moments and move on.
Snake, at one point, Marty St. Louis shuffled the deck.
Yeah.
And he went with Newhook to center, Demidov on one wing, and Bolduc on the other wing. Now, Kapanen usually centers that line. He shuffled the deck. Bolduc was on the fourth line. He wanted to get Bolduc more ice. Probably didn't like what Kapanen was bringing tonight. Shuffled the deck. Pierre says, don't panic. It's a loss. But do you think that we're going to see different lines next game?
I think it's a possibility because I think what we're seeing now is that obviously a guy like Bolduc deserves more ice time than Kapanen. And I think over the long run, and I've said this before, although he's had 3 goals this year, and I took a lot of heat for my comments about Kapanen, I don't think this is he's top 6, even top 9 material, which means that he would play between 15 and 20 minutes a game. I just don't see it.
We talked about making the most of your minutes. Kapanen did not make the most of his minutes tonight.
No.
But he did make the most of his minutes last game.
Yeah.
Where he scored a very important goal for the Canadiens. Yeah. He did well in the face-off circle as well. Hit a couple of shots on goal. Here we go. I don't think we're going to refuse that, are you?
No,
you're not.
No, I'm
not. You
not.
cannot refuse the Schwartzes. If you want, we could do a piece each if you find that it's, at this time. Yeah, okay. Well, have a piece for Pierre McGuire as well. Pierre, do you expect line changes? Thank you to the great people over at Schwartz's Smoked Meat once again. There is no other smoked meat in the world. Pierre?
The one thing I'd say in defense of Oliver Kapanen is with Kirby Dach out, you don't have a lot of options right now. You got to be aware of that. Unless the Canadiens find a way to do something, they got to pay attention to him right now. I don't think there'll be much panic stuff. I really don't. I don't think they're going to panic. That's not Marty's way. I do think there'll be some subtle changes. I don't know what their plan is for Holmbeck. Do you play him on the wing or do you play him at center? I don't know what their plan is. Do you keep Veleno in the lineup or do you move him out? I would imagine Joe gets to play more, which is good for him. But I don't think there'll be much panic from this team. There shouldn't be.
If you're hungry for a deal, eat well at Playground without breaking the bank. Monday, sink your teeth into a juicy 12-ounce ribeye steak with all the fixings, $19. Tuesdays, dive into an all-you-can-eat Asian experience, $25. Wednesday, savor a 6-ounce bacon wrap filet mignon with dessert for $30. Thursdays, lobster, surf and turf, only $22. And Fridays at lunch, get any sandwich, burger, pizza, or main for just $7. Delicious, outrageous. Visit playground.ca for details. Snake, let's go back to the game summary and the the score sheet if we can. And there you have it. Noah Dobson scores his first to narrow the lead to 4-3. The Canadiens would not score any more goals, but Snake, Noah Dobson just getting it through traffic, and a lot of credit goes to Anderson and Gallagher, especially Gallagher, who was screening, taking some punishment, but Noah Dobson just putting it at the net. He did it last game. It resulted in a Dach goal. He did it tonight. He scores his first as a Hab.
Mm-hmm. I think Noah Dobson is totally changing the dynamics of the Habs defensive core, because obviously he's the number one guy. And he takes a lot of pressure off, Lane Hudson and Madison and Goalie. So I think he was the right acquisition. He is the number one guy for them. And, I think it's,
A total 7 goals were scored in tonight's hockey game. So we're going to take 7 questions on the YouTube Live.
Okay.
Shane Gaumont and Master Control, if we can take 7 questions. And this is what I'll do. I'll go Pierre, Snake, Pierre, Snake, Pierre, Snake, Pierre. Donnie Fitzgerald, question for Pierre. Would you have used Demidov on that 5-on-4 power play instead of Slavkovsky? I know Slav had a goal, but I think Demidov would have been better on the right wall. Still could have used Slav net front presence. Just think it was a missed opportunity. Pierre.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of Lane Hudson last year, and eventually they put Matheson on the second power play. They put Hudson on the first. I think eventually that will happen. Yeah.
Question number 2 for Simon Snake Boisvert. Joel Chabot says, Slav on the trading block in January 2026 in a package deal. That's giving up on him pretty fast, is it not?
Well, I think it's a crucial season for Slav because other draftees from 2022, like Logan Cooley, Cutter Gauthier, and Shane Wright are sort of catching up to him. But look, let's not panic. Let's not put him on the trading block right away. But it is obviously, I think, a crucial season where he has to show, not necessarily become a superstar, but show lots of progress.
Pierre McGuire gets the next question. Question number 3, Matthew Clark, question for Pierre. How do coaches and development guys create better playmakers? Slavkovsky, in my mind, doesn't fit on power play number 1 with his current playmaking abilities. Why not put him on the power play 2 in the bumper, Pierre?
Well, I wouldn't put him in the bumper on the power play 2 because he's not the most creative player in the world. And the bumper player's got to be a really creative player, number 1. Number 2, skill development's pretty important. You got to spend a lot of time with players. You work on different things in terms of playing in confined areas, playing in open areas, playing in slot areas, working off the rush, moving your feet, standing still, stabilizing in the slot. I did it for a lot of players, whether it's Jaromir Jagr, whether it's Marty Straka, you go down the line. There's so many players, Christopher Pronger. You work with all these guys over the years, but there are different ways to develop them. But it's hard to create players that are really creative. Usually they're born with that. Yeah. But you can make them more comfortable with the puck. You can.
7 questions. Question number 4 for Snake Boisvert. Let's go, Shane. Ted Stevens goes, says, what happened to Atos Koivu? Is he NHL caliber, or will he ever make it to the Habs?
He'll never make it. He might come to Laval. He might get a contract, come to Laval. But I think after his 3 years in Laval, he's going to go back to Europe and have a nice career in Finland or Sweden or whatever.
I wouldn't underestimate anyone whose family name is Koivu. Next question. Question number 5 for Pierre McGuire. Derek Rendell. Pierre, safe to say Kirby Dach's experiment as second center has failed, with Evans being a 4th liner and Kapanen still a puppy being trained. Do you see the second line center being filled soon?
They'll figure out a way to get it done one way or the other. I'm really worried about Kirby's health, but I do believe we talked about it last year. We'll talk about it again this year. They've got to fill that hole. No question.
Question 6 for Snake Boisvert. Sun and Fun Travelers, what do you think of Anderson, Evans, and Gallagher line tonight?
I think they were fine. I think Gallagher has been quite surprising in the last couple of years, and I think he's going to have another good season.
Final question for Pierre McGuire, question number 7. Might sound funny. Do we miss Armia and Devo in protecting leads?
Not at this point. Way too early to tell. Not at this point. I wouldn't overreact to that. No.
That one from Andrew McGinnis. Pierre McGuire, I know that you're here in mind and spirit, not in body, of course. This is what you're missing out on. This is Schwartz's smoked meat. Take a look at that, Pierre. Take a look at that. Nothing better at 10:57 p.m. on a Saturday night. McGuire, thank you for doing overtime because your obligations are weeknights. The fact that you went on a Saturday night speaks volumes about you. I love you, bud. You're a big part of the show, as you know. I can't do it without you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Snake. Have a great night. Merci beaucoup. Enjoy your smoked meat from Schwartz's. Say hello to everybody at Sir Winston Churchill's, the best pub after hockey in the National Hockey League.
A round of applause for Pierre McGuire. Thank you, Pierre. I want to thank you all for coming out. This is something that we'd love to do on, every now and then here at Sir Winston Churchill Pub. We thank the ownership group for having us here. We love the people here. We love the hospitality. If we could come here once a month, we'll be here once a month. The ball is in their court now. Huh? Thank you very much. Thank you. You all deserve a round of applause for coming out. And let's hear it for one of the hottest guys in Quebec right now. I'm obviously not talking about his looks, but I'm talking about his podcast. Simon the Snake Boisvert. He's got a podcast en français, which is called Mathias and Le Serpent. And he co-hosts a podcast in English on the Sick Media Network with Shane Gaumont. It's called Trust the Process. Simon, once a week.
Twice a week for Trust the Process, once a week for Mathias and Serpent.
There you have it. 3 times a week for Simon the Snake Boisvert. What I would give to have it 3 times a week. Oh, my God. All right, okay. Anyway, that's another story for another day. And by the way, when I talked about your looks, you want to say hello to a special person that you brought with you today?
Anne-Marie?
Anne-Marie. Say hello to Anne-Marie.
Salut, Anne-Marie.
A round of applause for Anne-Marie. All right, here we go. Once again, there we go. We showed it. Schwartz's smoked meat. Thank you very much. Snake has his. Here, cheers.
Cheers, Tony.
There we go. There you have it. Thank you very much to Sir Winston Churchill Pub. That's it for us. Have a good night. Canadiens lose by a score of 4-3, but they'll be back on Monday night, when they host the Buffalo Sabres. Ciao for now.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. LaVie.tv, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.